Why is this poor little Chinese kid so bad at saying 7 o'clock?
O'clock. O'clock.
Obviously, the short answer is that he just doesn't speak English, but I think you might find the more detailed explanation kind of interesting. In the video, you'll particularly notice that he just can't say o'clock in 2 syllables. But what's interesting is that k, l, and a are all sounds in Mandarin Chinese. So it's not like he can't say the word properly because he doesn't know the sounds, like how some English speakers don't know how to roll their R's. The reason he can't say o'clock in 2 syllables is because of something called phonotactics. Phonotactics is basically the rules for how a language can organize sounds. For instance, English does have the sound ng, like in the word sing, but English phonotactics does not allow you to put it at the beginning of a syllable. Like there's no native English word that starts with ng. And then Spanish, for instance, doesn't allow a syllable to start with st. So that's why Spanish speakers will sometimes say a Starbucks instead of Starbucks. And every language has its own phonotactics that kind of evolved to work well with the words and sounds of that language. And Chinese phonotactics is very different from English. For instance, one big thing is that you cannot have a consonant cluster at the beginning of a syllable. So the cl in clock is just not allowed. And what I mean by not allowed is that a native speaker, especially a child, would find it very difficult to hear that cl as a single unified onset to a syllable. And even an adult would find it hard to produce because they don't have the muscle memory of producing those sounds together. And so what often happens in this situation is that speakers of languages like this will perceive that cluster as 2 separate syllables. So instead of cla, it's que la, like how English speakers perceive the monosyllabic French surname Sartre as 2 syllables, Sartre. And then another thing is that Mandarin syllables can't end in any syllable other than a n or a ng. So for instance, in words like clock, that k at the end is either perceived as just not being there or the start of a new syllable, leading to what that kid was saying, which was kulaku. Especially for children, it can be really difficult to grasp the phonotactics of a different language. And then even if you're an adult, you might understand the phonotactics, but then your facial muscles just physically can't produce that. I think people underestimate how hard it would be to naturally say cl if you had literally never done that before. Anyway, one of my favorite crazy complex syllables in English is yaldnov. Depending on your dialect, it might be more like 2 syllables, but anyway, it looks cool in a hat. So if you want to support videos like this, check out the link in my bio for language themed stuff like this. It's even cooler when it's not in mirror image and you can actually read it.